This is the home of Stephen and Stephanie, and they have a dilemma. This is Stephen, this is Stephanie, and this is their dilemma. Stephen wants to replace the server with a new one. Stephanie wants to keep the server because of its charm and sentimental value. How should Stephen and Stephanie resolve this? A. Trash the server and buy a new one. B. Get a divorce. Stephen will get the house, Stephanie will get the furniture, not to mention the server. Or C. Consider the alternative. Refinish the server.
All right, we agree to keep the server.
Well, Steph, it's a nice piece of furniture, and we like the look of it. It's just so beaten up and dull looking.
Everything in the furniture store was either overpriced or had a bad case of the uglies. I wax this all the time. It just doesn't do any good.
Well, maybe that's one of the problems.
What do you mean that's one of the problems? Stephen?
All I'm saying, Stephanie, is maybe we're going about it wrong. Maybe we're trying to enhance or restore the finish the wrong way. I think the furniture polish has built up over the years, and it's masking the server's true finish. Aside from the fact that it's pretty beaten up.
So what's the game plan for this thing?
We're going to refinish it. It's the ideal solution. We get to keep the server we love and at the same time make it look like new. Plus, we'll be saving money by doing the job ourselves. What do you think?
You lost me at one point.
What point is that?
Refinish it ourselves? I don't know anything about refinishing furniture.
Well, then leave it to me. I'll refinish it.
And you know how to refinish furniture. The correct way, where it still looks like furniture.
Of course. What could be easier?
Skydiving. Without a parachute. Why are you using paint strip in an unventilated space? Are you trying to kill yourself? Stephen, I'm really surprised at you. That's dangerous.
You're right. I should have been stripping the finish in a bigger area with all the windows open.
Why don't you do it out here? It's a much bigger area, and you don't have to worry about opening up the windows.
Fine. Let me catch my breath, and I'll move out here.
Oh, and be sure to put a drop cloth under that server. I don't want paint stripper all over the porch.
Yes, dear. Did I say this was going to be easy?
No!
Hi, Charlie.
Stephen, what are you doing with that paintbrush and that really nice server?
I'm getting ready to strip off the old finish with this. Oh, I lucked out. I found this stuff down in the basement, so I'm not out any money or anything. I think it's furniture stripper. Doesn't that look like stripper to you?
No, Stephen. There's an easier way of doing this.
How?
Come with me.
Well, where are you taking me?
I refinished 2 tables, a chair, and that hutch in my den with this.
That hutch in your den, you refinished? I thought it was new.
This is a really good brand.
Is it a new brand or something?
No, there's many refinishing products on the market, but I'm satisfied with the results of this brand. Come on, there's a couple more items I need to get, and I can show you what to do. We need these. We need some of this. We need this, and there's one more thing I need to get. I'll need this.
Is this going to be easy?
Okay, Charlie, have we got everything we need here?
Yes, you have all the supplies you need. You have the furniture refinisher.
Okay.
You have the two types of steel wool, one of a medium grade and one of a fine grade.
Okay.
You have the heavy-duty gloves made of thick latex. You have some towels, a mini vac. You have the tongue oil. You have a screwdriver to remove any excess hardware from the server. You have a toothbrush to get into the crevices, hard-to-reach places, and you have a bucket to pour the refinisher in and a container to remove the waste with.
Okay. Now, how do I know the difference between the two types of steel wool?
Okay, there's a code on its package. The medium grade is designated by 20 and the fine grade is designated by 30. Very easy to determine the two so there won't be any mix-up.
Okay. Why do we have to use two different types anyway?
Okay, the medium grade is used for the initial refinishing and the fine grade is going to be used in the final rubbing.
Okay, so we're going to be using this first. That's why we have more of it. We're going to need more of this.
That's
okay.
correct.
All right. Now, what's our first step? What do we have to do first?
Okay, what I want you to do is take the furniture refinisher and pour about 1/4 inch of it into the steel bucket.
Okay. All right. Do I need the rubber gloves for
Yeah,
that?
the
Okay.
stuff is really strong.
All
You
right.
need to protect your hands.
Okay. Well, these are thicker than these aren't the kind you do dishes with. These are heavier.
No, if you had used the ones that you would do the dishes with, the chemicals are so strong it's going to eat right through the glove.
Oh, okay. All right. So this up here. All right. Now just a little bit of this, or
Yeah,
how much?
put about 1/4 of the fluid in this bucket.
All right. All right. Let's see here if I can. How's that?
That's fine.
Okay. This. Okay. Now we just take this over to the server.
Yeah, and then
Okay.
we can just begin.
Wait! Remember, step 1. Supplies needed: furniture refinisher, tongue oil, 2 types of steel wool, medium grade and fine grade, thick latex gloves, old cotton rags, toothbrush, screwdriver, 2 disposable containers, metal coffee cans are ideal, drop cloth, vacuum. Now continue.
Okay. Let's take it over to the server. Okay. Now, Charlie, what's my first step?
I want you first to go ahead and remove the hardware from the server.
Okay. Alright. Got the front part off.
What I want you to do is go ahead and let's start at the top of the server.
Okay. Now, I'm not going to need this anymore, am I?
No,
This
let's
is-
go ahead and get rid of that.
All right.
You're not going to need that at all.
Okay.
This way, when we start working at the top, the liquid can run down onto the cloth.
Okay. Now, how much of this do I need to take out of here?
I want you to take out 1 pad, and then I want you to rip it in half.
All right. This way.
Yeah, just rip it in half.
Okay.
Okay. Now what I want you to do is take the steel wool and just soak it into the liquid.
Okay, like a sponge.
Yeah, like a sponge.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, now go ahead and do a circular motion. Just go ahead and
Squeeze
apply
it out?
Yeah, squeeze it out.
Okay.
You don't want any excess coming on this.
Okay.
Look what's happening to it
Oh,
now.
I see, yeah.
It's beginning to dissolve the old varnish.
Oh, that's amazing. I can see the wood grain coming up.
Isn't that great?
That's beautiful.
It's really coming off fast. Because this piece was so dry that it's beginning to flake, so you're not going to have to take much effort to get it off.
I see. I just keep working
Yeah,
in it
keep
back
on
in
going.
circular. Okay.
As you see the old residue, it's beginning to cake up. You're really beginning to see the grain now.
Yes, I see, yeah.
It doesn't take much effort to get it off. It's really pretty grain.
How can I tell when it's all off?
You're going to be able to tell when it's all off is when all this excess residue is basically gone. It's going to be dry.
Okay.
Go ahead and down onto this,
Onto this?
edging here.
All right.
Now, these hard lines,
Yeah,
you're
how
going
am I gonna
to
get to
use a
those?
toothbrush. That's why you had a toothbrush for it. That's going to
Okay.
get out the crevices.
All right, now do I have to do that at the same time, or can I get finished
No,
with
go
the
ahead and do more of this.
Okay, all right,
And do a wider area.
all right. This is beautiful.
Isn't it nice?
This is very nice.
Are you beginning to feel some of the tingling sensation in your hand?
It's
because
cold, yeah.
It's
I can
cold.
feel the coldness through
Can you imagine if you had worn the lighter gloves on this?
Would it have eaten right through by this
It would have
time?
eaten right through the latex. That's why you have to use the heavier gloves.
It's good. I'm glad we got these. Oh, look at that.
Isn't that fascinating?
That's great.
It's really coming off fast.
Now it's getting real tacky. Should I?
Right. Go ahead and continue.
Okay.
What we'll do is we'll do the whole top and get this, basically all the old varnish off. And then we'll go ahead and pour that residue out and then replace it with new.
Start again. Okay.
And see, that's why you start at the top. As it begins to run down, it will just hit on the cloth.
Yeah.
Now see, with these water rings, what it does when you're taking off the old varnish, it's just going to restain it.
And the liquid in the bucket is turning dark brown now.
That's why you need to replace the liquid every so often, because what you're doing is you're dissolving the old varnish, and then as you keep on getting cleaner and cleaner varnish, all of this old residue is going to be gone. Looks like liquid glue, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. Now, should I be going back over this again now?
You know, see if you can get more of this old residue off,
Okay.
and then we'll go back with
Fresh.
fresh liquid.
Yeah, that's coming off nicely.
Isn't that nice? It's amazing how they put all this old varnish on. It almost like I painted it on.
Yes.
And I love to see the wood grain come through.
Now, you want me to just spread this out like?
Yeah, keep on spreading it out. You want to
Okay.
try to get as much of the old varnish off in the first stripping part.
All right.
Because
I can see spots now that I missed before.
Yeah. As it cakes up, you're going to be seeing it. And as more as you go over and over, you're going to be getting that out.
Yeah, I see.
Look at that grain.
That's beautiful. Yeah, that's starting to lighten up.
What's nice about this is that in the initial rubbing, you don't really have to be concerned with going with the grain. All you're doing is dissolving the old varnish. In the final rubbing, you have to go with the grain, because then
Oh, I see.
cutting against the grain, you're going to scratch it.
So till we get down to the wood itself, we don't have to worry about that.
No, you don't. It's not much to worry about. You're not really damaging the surface at this point.
Yeah, there are a lot of crevices to get into here.
Yeah, all that ribbing effect of the wood, you're going to be able to get that out with a toothbrush.
Oh, look at that. That's
Isn't that
right off.
fantastic? Look
That's
at that.
Wonderful. That's great.
It's not much effort. It really
No,
comes
you're
off.
right.
Now you can understand why you need some protection. Man, that stuff would really
Absolutely.
eat right through your skin.
Powerful stuff. What about these little spots where damage has taken the finish off the wood and it's already exposed?
You don't have to worry about that. Once you begin to strip it, that will restain it,
I see.
and it will blend it in.
Okay.
Why don't you use that toothbrush behind you and see how easy it is going to get into the crevices.
Just get it wet like this? And
Yeah, just saturate it and just,
Oh, I see. Yeah, that's working well. Yeah, that's great.
isn't that great? It's amazing what a toothbrush can do.
It's terrific.
Oh, wow. I can't believe how much better it looks, and you're not even done yet.
Beautiful, and it's so easy.
Oh, I can't wait to see it when it's all finished. Well, gotta run back inside.
Okay. Now I'm beginning to see the wood grain here, Charlie.
Yeah, you're going to be able to see more and more as you take this off. Look how they veneered this front door panel. You've got exactly 4 pieces of veneering. You got 1, 2, 3, and 4, and how it's flamed. They're going in opposite directions.
Yes, I see.
Now see how it's beginning to dry?
Mm-hmm.
As more and more of you take off, you're beginning to see the dry wood underneath.
Yes, I see. Okay.
God, isn't that beautiful? Look at that.
Gorgeous. I'm gonna need the toothbrush here for.
Yeah, because the way this piece of wood was applied, you're going to need that toothbrush to really get into those crevices. Otherwise, the tongue oil will not take to that old varnish.
Yeah. Let's see what the toothbrush. Oh yeah, this is good.
See how that goes? It's really getting into those really hard to reach places. And that way, when you do your final wash, all of that excess will definitely come off.
It's great. Okay, Charlie, now these legs look like they're going to be tough because they're round.
Stephen, why don't you go ahead and get a new piece of steel wool? That is beginning to deteriorate really fast. You've already used off most of the grade.
All right.
This way, your steel wool pad is fresh, it's coarse, and you'll be able to accept more of the fluid and get the old varnish off.
Okay. Now I just rub it around the leg like I did everything else.
Take the steel wool and put it like in the palm of your hand. That way you can twist it to go with the curvature
Like
of those
this?
spirals. Right.
Okay. Oh, like this?
Right,
Okay.
you've got it. See how that just really kind of adheres to the spiral?
Look at that.
Look at that. Look at the way that was turned on a lay.
That's wonderful.
And that is walnut. It's really beginning to dissolve really fast now because all the residue has been dripping down. It's just been hitting it, it's just been eating it away.
That's great.
It's really becoming to come off very fast right now.
I can see the
God,
grain
look at
now.
that wood. Isn't that beautiful?
That's wonderful. Definitely need the toothbrush in here.
You're definitely going to use it. There's no way you can get the steel wool in tight enough to get that all out.
Yeah.
It's really kind of amazing how fast this works.
You're right.
You're taking off about 60 years of varnish in a matter of minutes.
That is great. Okay, now let me get in there with the toothbrush and see what that does.
Look at all that highlight.
That's beautiful. Very nice.
Stop! Remember, step 2. The refinishing process. Remove all hardware such as drawer knobs and handles. Begin with a half a piece of steel wool, medium grade, and dip into the refinisher. Squeeze out excess refinisher and apply to the furniture in a circular motion. Always apply the refinisher to the top of the furniture and work your way down. Periodically check the refinisher you are using. If the refinisher is black, pour it out and use fresh. Continue this process until the furniture's finish has been removed. Now continue.
Charlie, this residue looks really dark.
Yeah, you've got about 60 years of varnish in your hands right there.
That's something. Wow.
It's pretty amazing what comes off.
Yeah, it's so fast. Now I've noticed that some of the areas of wood are darker than others. Is that because I didn't get enough finish off? Or?
No, you got all the old varnish off. It's just the different cuts of wood that they've applied on this front door panel. So you've got a long cut here, and you've got the veneering, and it's going in opposite direction. But that's fine.
Oh, okay. All right. Then the next step is to do the final?
You're going to do your final and last wash, and you're going to try to get off any residue left by the refinishing process.
Okay, that's, by residue
all
you mean
this
this?
glob you want to try to get off.
All right.
This time what I want you to do is I want you to go with the grain.
Okay.
This way you're doing it an even wash. You won't have any streaking, you won't have anything going against the grain.
Okay.
Look at that. Isn't that
That's
beautiful?
That's amazing.
That's what the tongue oil is going to do. You see it wet like this, and this is what the wood's going to look like.
I see. That's great.
See, it's clear. There's not much more coming off. That's it. That's what you want to accomplish.
That's good. That's great. All right, now should I start on the front?
Yeah, why don't you just go ahead and work down.
Okay.
You're just doing the same thing. You want to work down with the grain.
Okay. Ooh. That's nice.
Hold it. Remember, step 3. The final wash. Thoroughly remove all residue left by the refinishing process. Continue using medium-grade steel wool, but be sure to stroke with the grain of the wood. Final wash is complete when the refinisher is no longer clouded by residue. Now continue.
Well, Charlie, what do you think now?
I think you did a really nice job, Stephen. It looks really, really good. I'm very impressed.
Okay, where do I go from here?
Okay, what you want to do now is you want to go ahead and start dry steel wooling it for the final processing.
Okay, this is with the other steel wool.
Right,
the
exactly.
Extra fine?
The extra fine.
Okay. All right.
What I want you to do is I want you to go ahead and take those gloves off, because
What is that?
the reason why is that you've already got the varnish residue still left on those gloves.
Right.
And that will be put right back onto the surface.
Okay.
You don't want that. You've already done your already hard work. You don't want to do it over again.
Okay.
Now, remember, with this fine steel wool, you want to go with the grain.
Okay. Tear this in half again?
Right. Go ahead and tear it in half.
Okay. All right. Now, what is this going to do for the wood?
Okay, what this is going to do is going to just smooth the graining down. It's just going to give it a really polished look. It's going to take off any surface residue that's still left behind.
Okay. All right, let me try this door. Now, I need
On
to go...
this, when you make sure you go with the grain, don't go across the panel. Just go up and down
up and
with the
down.
grain, because you'll scratch it.
Right.
Now see where all the steel wool particles are being still left embedded into
Yes,
that?
yes.
You can get that out with a dry toothbrush or the mini vac that we've got. We just want to get all these dry particles
I
of steel
see.
wool out
Okay.
of the finish before it gets tongue oiled.
Before we go any further, remember, step 4, dry steel wooling. Begin this process by using the extra fine grade steel wool. Remove latex gloves so not to get any of the varnish residue that is accumulated on the gloves back on the furniture. Be sure to rub with the grain in the wood. Remember that dry steel wooling will smooth the grain down and remove any surface residue that may have been missed. Now continue.
Okay, that feels really good.
Yeah, it really looks good, Stephen. You did a nice job in buffing that finish. Why don't you go ahead and start to vacuum the top of the piece?
Okay, why am I vacuuming it?
Well, you still have some steel wool residue on the top, and we want to get that out of the grain.
Okay.
And why don't you hand me a cloth, and I'll go ahead and wipe down the sides.
All right. Now, can I just run this along the top?
Yeah, but don't apply too much pressure to the top. You don't want to mar the surface of this wood,
Okay.
or we'll have to sandpaper it out.
Okay.
Okay?
All right, I'll be careful.
It doesn't look like the same piece, does
Because
it?
I had no idea this was going to look like this. This is wonderful.
Beautiful. There's one
right,
piece
yeah.
right here where it's beginning to run. You want to make sure you get that off because otherwise you'll have to steel wool it
Oh, I see.
to make it smooth.
Okay. There. Is that
That's it.
like it? All right, good. Now, how long do I have to let this dry?
Okay, you want to let this dry for at least overnight. Then you can go ahead and put on the second coat and then let it again dry a half a day, and then your last coat goes on and it's finished.
Okay, so every coat needs half a day to dry.
Yes, basically. You're just going to let it dry thoroughly before you put another coat on. Otherwise, it's still tacky, and you're beginning to rub the finish off again.
We're not done yet. Remember, step 5, the final step. Applying tongue oil. Before applying the tongue oil, wipe with a cotton cloth or lightly vacuum the furniture to remove any steel wool particles that may be in the wood grain. Spread tongue oil evenly and wipe off all excess. Apply at least 3 coats of tongue oil. Let the first coat dry overnight. The second and third coats need only half a day to dry. As a safety precaution, before placing anything on your refinished piece, let your final application of tongue oil dry overnight. Now enjoy your refinished furniture.
Our server really does have a fresh look. Now that it's had the refinishing touch, you really were lucky that Charlie came over when he did and showed you how to refinish it the right way.
Yes, lucky, dear. Anyway, compared to buying a new piece of furniture, this was definitely a lot less expensive. Oh, and did you notice?
What?
I even refinished the hardware at Charlie's insistence.
What are you talking about?
The hardware. Since the little door handle on the server was in good shape, Charlie suggested polishing it up instead of replacing it. That adds to the furniture's original charm and beauty. So I bought some brass cleaner, and, well, I think the rest speaks for itself.
Well, with all said and done, was it easy?
Easy? Why, ma'am, Charlie made it so easy, I think I may tackle our next piece of furniture solo. Quick, give me something to refinish. How about that bookcase? Or maybe the dining room table? No, I have it! Our bedroom dresser! Why, the choices are endless!
Stephen, you're a man obsessed. I love it.